Good morning, YouTube. There is a semiconductor mega rally today. You've got to ask yourself, what's a mega rally? Well, there's Sandisk up 23%, AMD up 17%, WDC up 17%, Micron up 16%. TSM up 8%, Nvidia up 3%. So this is one of the biggest rallies we've seen in semiconductors. Yesterday, I was posting a video about a sell-off. I was talking about how the market narrative had it all wrong, how the market was expecting CAPEX decreases in 2027 based on the way they were pricing semiconductors. When large companies like hyperscalers build data centers, that's CAPEX. What do data centers need? Well, they need memory to store the data. They need CPUs to process the data. They need GPUs to do inference. And so when you see increases in CAPEX spending, you see semiconductors do well. When you see decreases, you see semiconductors sell off. So what we saw when Meta and Microsoft released their earnings is we saw a major rewriting of the market narrative. We saw that they're actually slightly increasing their 27 plans, while the market believed, because there was falling token prices in the market, that we would see these companies cut back in their earnings releases. So this was a surprise to the market. What the market then, did is people rushed back into semis that they were selling, and it's caused a major rewriting of their valuations. So to see single companies up 20% in a day, or even Micron, which is a trillion-dollar company, seeing it rally by 16% in one day is absolutely incredible. Very rare to see a move like that. Especially across a whole sub-industry. So everybody that was, either buying more, hanging on, congratulations. Maybe the worst of the sell-off is behind us, and this is a new page in the semiconductors. The earnings were really good at Microsoft. We saw phenomenal GAAP earnings per share growth. We saw great Azure cloud growth, which really drives a lot of the CapEx spending. We also saw, good revenue growth year over year. So everything was great out of Microsoft. Their guidance was very good as well. Meta, on the other hand, we saw it decreasing. So their revenue growth year over year decreased from 30% to 27%. So I think that was a little bit disappointing. We also saw the earnings fall 13% year over year, down to $5 and something a share. The GAAP earnings per share. So that was a disappointment because it was one of the only Mag 7 companies that are growing their earnings or shrinking their earnings, so the earnings are going in the wrong direction. At the same time, their free cash flow projections for 2027, because they increased their CapEx, are absolutely very far negative. And there's this chart where it says great free cash flow, 2026 is slightly negative, and 2027 it's like it falls off a cliff. So the market is concerned about that. It's concerned about Meta's falling profitability and just massively negative free cash flow for 2027. I think it's reminding them of Mark Zuckerberg betting the farm back in 2022 on the metaverse and that being a flop. So Microsoft has done very well today. Last I checked, up over 10%, while Meta has done very poorly and is down over 10%. And so the market really wants to see profitability out of these hyperscalers. It doesn't want to see losses. It doesn't want to see massively negative free cash flow. And so while they're increasing their CapEx spend, I think the market wants to see some discipline. But the 2027 numbers are already so much larger, the announcements, than 2026, that as long as those numbers stay intact, I believe semiconductors have a great growth runway. And at the low valuations, as we talked about yesterday, like Micron was at a PE ratio of 8, Sandisk was down there, similar PE ratio. It leaves a lot of room for these companies to rally and do very well if we continue to see especially revenue growth and earnings growth into 2027. So congrats to everybody that was holding semis, myself included. It's a great day. And yeah, a little bit about myself, you guys, by the way, if you're new to the channel. I'm John Tinsman. I am here in Bettendorf, Iowa. I run the AOTG ETF. That's the AOT Growth and Innovation ETF. I started AOT Invest. I'm a professional asset manager, but this is my personal channel, so it's not financial advice. It's my personal stock commentary. I don't talk about my funds. I just talk about the individual stocks. So welcome to the channel, you guys. Like and subscribe, and see you guys next time.